Most of us have seen some of these TikTok accounts normally, but it's also, they're all over Instagram as well, put out there by these Israeli soldiers, in which they're dancing around in women's underwear, they're blowing up buildings, and they're in one case in the film, they're sniping people.
Well, there's
what appear to be civilians. Is this?
The people are unarmed, certainly. There's a sort of ascending order. I think, first of all, the important thing to say is what you don't see is combat. What they almost never post is combat, which is what you would think you would be posting. I mean, I've seen various people doing a lot of work into how much damage has been done to Hamas, how degraded is Hamas. And what I would say to people who are researching this is look through these thousands of videos. The IDF itself puts out a lot of videos and count the number of bodies with guns next to them. Very limited number, very limited number. I mean, I remember, over 20 years ago in Afghanistan when the Taliban were crushed. And in those days, of course, not everyone was filming on their phone. But even so, I remember seeing footage of piles of bodies, as the Northern Alliance moved through Afghanistan, piles of bodies. It's nothing like that in... Now, I'm not saying that Hamas hasn't sustained damage and fighters haven't been killed, but one of the things that is remarkably absent from these videos is, not entirely absent, but to a large degree absent, is combat footage and dead Hamas fighters.
Another curiosity about these soldiers, the ones which you can see waving underwear around, blowing up buildings, are they all Israeli soldiers?
Well, a lot of them are dual nationals. It's quite striking how often you'll have some guy posting something, he's clearly British, or he's clearly American, or he's clearly French, or he's clearly South African. A lot of these people are dual nationals. Some of them may not even be Israeli nationals at all. I don't know. I mean, this isn't something we've done the empirical work on, but it certainly, it's something that strikes you immediately about these videos, how many of them are clearly not sort of native Israelis.
So it's like an international brigade almost,
yes, in a way.
In fighting with the Israeli army.
Yeah. And I think perhaps that's how some of these guys see it.
They see it as some form of war of civilizations, do you think? I mean, do you get any sense of that from the...
Yes, and there are people for whom their Jewish identity is very important and for whom it is tied up integrally with Israel. I mean, they are great, they're passionate Israeli nationalists, passionate Israeli patriots, however you want to characterize it.
And the attitudes coming out towards the Palestinians, of course, you can see this, are quite grotesque in some cases, because they completely dehumanize them, don't they?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the underwear thing, which you've touched on, which is bizarre, and it just recurs again and again. I suppose they think they're exposing some sort of hypocrisy. I suppose that's the sort of weird thing that's going on in their head. But you see it again and again and again, rifling through women's underwear drawers, putting on women's underwear, taking humiliating photos, holding up women's underwear and so on. And it is deeply dehumanizing. It's repellent to watch.